Hello, welcome back to Hooligans Pitch. It's the same every week. It's Chad and Michael, we back.
We're back again. 46 weeks in a row.
Oof. I mean, it's flying by. It's flying by. I kind of just want to dive right into this game. But before we do that, let's get the bevy out the way.
Yeah, we almost forgot.
Don't forget.
Yeah, we can't forget this one. Special occasion today. First time in 5 years, Man City has lost 2 games in a row. So I think, you know what? We can celebrate a little. I didn't get the scoreline I wanted, but we're going to do a tree house today. A gold tree house because just feels right. Feels right.
Feels right.
How about yourself?
All right. Nothing too crazy, but still just enjoying the Oktoberfest while it's around, Gotta take it while I can get it. So
there you go. And I want to say I finally finished my wall behind me. I got my Sac Republic poster, my Liverpool, and my Arsenal. The right order, Liverpool on top, Arsenal right below. However, in the table, it doesn't reflect that, but
in your heart.
In my heart. Yeah, there you go. In my heart. Yes. Okay, Chad, let's talk about something that hasn't happened in 5 years. City losing 2 in a row. Only a couple players on this team who were on that team 5 years ago. The likes of a young Foden, a De Bruyne, an Ederson, a John Stones, these players that have it feels like they're still relatively young and have been at City for a while. But this is the first time for a lot of the starting 11 who have never been through this before. And I think it's kind of hilarious, like that they kind of had a little fit near the end, didn't know how to control their emotions. But first off, let's talk about the game in itself. What was your overall take?
Comparing it to previous encounters with City, I think Arteta finally played this right. Because all the past ones, he always wanted to go head to head with City and just take them on. And I think a lot of that was due to maybe the quality of player that Arsenal had in the past, but it obviously never worked. It didn't work. And this time, as much as Arsenal came out maybe a little bit nervous, they came out also pretty well controlled, which I think is what was needed. Kind of take your time to get into the game and see what City's going to do. I mean, it worked in the end. It wasn't the most lightning back and forth game or a ton of chances or anything, but it was just kind of like a chess match, I guess, is almost the best way to describe it. Both teams kind of know the level of each other, and even tactically, they're both coming from the same tactics book of Pep, right? So as an Arsenal fan, I thought it was a pretty interesting game. I've seen a lot of comments from neutrals saying it was boring. I've been I get that, but at the same time, this is the big game of last season that everyone had circled immediately for this year as it came around, and it was good to take advantage of City missing De Bruyne and Rodri. If you're ever going to get a win over them, you got to do it now. And I'm glad Arsenal could get it done. And I think it just takes a lot of pressure off of Arteta and the team, especially after the whole Saka mishap or misuse. I don't know what you want to call it. But, going into the international break with a win over City is certainly a comfy 2 weeks.
When you can keep the robot Erling Haaland from scoring, that's always a win, no matter what team you are. Even if you lose, if you stop him, that feels like a win. But to just keep the clean sheet and to get out of there with no City player scoring and without arguably your best player in Saka. And yes, of course, City was missing a couple of their key guys, De Bruyne and Rodri, but the substitutions I thought from Mikel was something.
Perfect.
I got a City highlight on. Someone's yelling goal, and it was Martinelli scored, and it just popped off really quick. Sorry about that. But it spooked me. What surprised me was Mikel making those subs. The first one being Martinelli at half, and then the 3 others that came on, Partey, Help me out here. Who else came on at that time?
Tomiyasu
Tomiyasu and one more.
Havertz.
Havertz, yes. And then Pep only making 2 subs on his end. I think that just shows the depth quality that Pep is just like, I don't have the options.
All right, Oscar Bob.
I really don't have the options here. And you know, I think Rico Lewis is a bright spot for them, and they're extremely lucky that he's come in there and has been this kind of spark plug for their team. But other than that, I mean, that team is just, I think they're going to, I mean, we kind of just saw it coming. This is going to be the year that they're going to find their struggles. And I don't think this game showed that they can't win the title, but I think the top 6 or 7 just showed like this could be anyone's right now. Like at where we are, anyone in the top 7, from my point of view, could take this thing and run away. Or maybe not run away with it, but it could get really, really interesting.
Yeah. I think, you know, Arteta was kind of smart to, I mean, he made the Martinelli switch, which I think he came out and said Trossard felt something in his leg or something, so they took him off more like precautionary. Maybe that's the case, or maybe he was always going to bring Martinelli on for the second half. I mean, he came on and just brought in so much energy and caused a lot of issue for City down that wing.
Make Kyle Walker work.
Yeah, for real. But then I think waiting to see like what changes City was really going to make was a smart move, because then, you know, they brought in Doku and immediately put him on Zinchenko, and like I was like, okay, well, you know, Zinchenko can defend, but like especially when it's like kind of faster dribblers, like he kind of can struggle. So I was glad to see Arteta make the switch with Tomiyasu right away. And then I felt pretty comfortable on either side, regardless of which side Doku was on. Like Ben White can hold his own, Tomiyasu can hold his own. You know, I thought I maybe would have liked to see Havertz in earlier, just purely to give like the back line and Raya that outlet, because they were getting kind of pushed back and they could kick it up, but no one can get it, because you know, Nketiah is not the tallest, Jesus is not the tallest. You know, Havertz at least gives the height up top, whether it's from a midfield position or the striking position, to at least try and get a ball to him that he can get his head on. So I maybe would have done that earlier, but I mean, it all worked out in the end. I mean, yeah, you bring in Partey and then it's him and Rice in the midfield. Like, you're not getting through that anymore. You know?
Rice was so good today too. I mean, that clearly shows that's kind of the missing piece.
Yeah.
And again, he didn't have Saka, so it's like this game could have been very different with another outlet on the other side of the pitch. Martinelli on one and Saka on the other. That's so dangerous to have. And you didn't really even have to utilize a whole right side. I mean, it was a battle. It was a tug of war. I think both teams didn't make this really crazy push until the end, when Arsenal finally like put the gas on the pedal and said, this has got to be our opportunity right now. And I mean, hell, they did it. It's like, it's their first victory in, gosh, why did I see 11 matches versus them? Is that correct?
Yeah, 6.5 years. It's
6.5 years, yeah.
First points of any kind against
That's crazy.
City.
So,
I mean, yeah, a long time coming, and you know, happy to see it finally happen. And you know, regardless of if City's missing players, Arsenal is missing some too. So, you know, it all works out as it should in the end. Yeah, I mean, I think the only thing that we didn't talk about was Kovacic.
Yes, let's go back a little bit, because in my notes I have Kovacic. Yikes! How it's gonna get me all frustrated again. But how did that dude not get sent off? What do you think Oliver's reasoning was between him?
I mean,
that second foul and him clearly clipping him.
Yeah, for me, like that first foul is already real borderline. Like, especially considering the sending offs we've seen in recent weeks. Like, not only is it late, it's, you know, kind of right there on the Achilles. Like, it's not a great challenge by any means. I think it could go either way. Like, it's that like darkest yellow kind of foul, I think, at the very least.
But that's but that's like the perfect time. I mean, I'm not saying it has to be a red, but I'm glad the ref gave a yellow there.
Yeah.
It's the second call. That's the one that's like,
that's a thing.
Bro.
Is if if that first foul had not happened, I think that second foul for sure gets a yellow. So now, just because it holds a little bit more weight, I get you don't want to like kind of disrupt the game in that way of removing a player, but you got to call it fairly. Like if it's a foul in any other circumstance, it should still be a foul here. Like especially, you see Jota last week, like just breathing the same air as his opponent, and he gets a yellow, and then he makes a pretty similar tackle to Kovacic's second, and gets that yellow, right? So it's like that's a hard one to get away from, and I think just to like ref just wanted to play on right away. I think he maybe just didn't want to make that decision. So then he was like, "Yep, not even really looking at it. Let's keep playing. Let's go and just move on." Which is a bummer, but glad it didn't really become a thing in the end. But that's one of those plays where like, especially with how the reffing has been, like I think that's one of your clear opportunities where you could just really just play it by the rule book and say like, yes, that's another foul. Too bad, so sad. You're down to 10 men now. And I think everyone would have been on your side. City fans would have groaned, but I think deep down they would have also seen like, yeah, okay, well, if that's against us, I would also call that a foul. So they got away with it. Luckily, it didn't really matter. But
I'm not saying it's a good thing that he didn't get kicked out, but it's almost better for Arsenal history that you beat Man City with 11.
Sure, yeah.
So you can reflect on that. But in the Wolves and Villa game today, Mario Lemina got a red card, his second yellow for pulling on a guy's shirt when it wasn't going to be a crazy break. But it was enough to be like, you can't do that, and you're already on a yellow. Like, yes, like you're going to get punished for this. And he was like, oh, he definitely was like, I screwed up, but also like that was not. I didn't like do anything terrible, but you grabbed his shirt and stopped play. Like you can't do that. So why is that a yellow here when he didn't even hurt a guy? And you have it done over here, and the guy, got him on the ankle. Clearly, it's just I don't know. The consistency is going to always, I think, just bug us and bug all the fans.
And I mean, like the live calls, I get it. Like, you kind of have to call it how you see it, and maybe from ref's angle, it didn't look that bad. But like, that's where VAR needs to kind of step in and be like, hang on, like we're taking a look at this, and then I think at least in that situation, you gotta have the ref review it as well, because if he didn't see it that bad of a tackle, then now you have the benefit of a second look and a better angle, and then you can see like, okay, well, yeah, that is a second yellow. He should be out of there. But
now, I don't know if the rule book allows this, but if you give out a yellow and it goes to VAR, can they reverse the yellow?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't think they review yellows. They'll only review it or take a look at it like that first foul, whereas like see if it needs to be upgraded.
Right. They can't go back, which is silly again, because what if it's clearly wrong? It doesn't hurt anyone if you go the other way.
Yeah. I think they should at least have that as an option. Like, I don't know that you need to review every single foul that results in a yellow.
Could take way too long.
Yeah, but for one like this, or one where it's just like I don't know, improperly given a yellow for really nothing, like you accumulate 5 or whatever, and then you gotta miss some games. So like these yellows do matter, even if maybe not in the context of that single game, but like at some point it catches up, and they should have a way to, I guess, correct that. They have the technology.
Yes, they do. They absolutely do, and they need to start using it correctly. I do want to point out this one fact, though. So 5 years ago, City lost 2 in a row. Any idea who they lost those 2 in a row to?
2 in a row, 5 years ago.
One is in the Premier League, one is not.
I I know they have a bad time against Tottenham, so I'm gonna throw them in there.
Oh no, not Tottenham. But I'll give you the one. It's Leicester.
Leicester.
Yep.
Okay. Liverpool maybe.
Palace.
Palace, really?
Yep. December of 2018. Now, here's the kicker, Chad, and here's something why maybe we shouldn't judge this too quickly. Man City got 100 points that year.
Yeah.
2 in a row to them means nothing. They're 5-2 at this point. It's like, it is earlier than it's ever happened before. I don't know when's the earliest they've lost 2 in a row, but it's just they're not at the top of the table right now. So that's a great feeling. It's a great feeling for everyone else. And
I mean, look, it's made it abundantly clear that Rodri right now is the thing holding this team together. They didn't have him for the League Cup, and they went out there, and then they didn't have him for these 2 Premier League games, and lost both. And it's both have been by pretty slim margins, but that's kind of the name of the game. And I think Rodri has at least brought some control or calmness to their midfields. That kind of, I guess, swings those little chances here and there into their favor. So we'll see. He'll be back next match day, so maybe things will start going their way again. I don't know, but it's gonna be an interesting international break, I think, in City training grounds and everything. Like, this might be where Pep now he has 2 weeks to just think about these back-to-back losses and just is he gonna galaxy brain it the next time, or is it gonna go completely opposite and he just overthought the strategy now? And
Well, they got Brighton next time around, and before we kind of segue to Brighton Liverpool, I just want to talk about the last little bit of the match today with the little scuffle. It looked like Ben White had something to do with it, but I think Ben White was just kind of the smiling aftermath. It was Arsenal set piece coach trying to shake Kyle Walker's hand, and Kyle Walker refusing, thus causing this mini scuffle, which was a bunch of nothing. But I mean, personally, I think Kyle Walker's kind of a hothead. I think.
Well, and our set piece coach came from City, so he knows all those guys the same as Arteta does. So it's not even I don't think you're going with any bad blood. It's just a former coworker, kind of competitive handshake and win, or I mean, maybe he says something oh, finally got one over you or something, but I don't know, play better then. I don't know.
Yeah, get good, Walker.
Yeah.
It was nothing in the grand scheme of things. It was just a quick little. It was just coaches and Holland, Foden, Walker, and I don't really know who else was in there besides other players from City. But it was quick. It lasted 10 seconds, and then they all went to the dressing room.
But it is just kind of a bad look for City,
for sure.
Right?
No, it's not. It's
you're defending champions, treble winners at that. Everyone knows you're good, so you have to take it. When you lose, of course any team is gonna be excited and celebrate, and you do kind of have everyone against you.
Yep.
But it's not like you got outplayed necessarily. Yes, Arsenal held you to, I think, 4 shots total, which was their lowest in however many years or something. But you didn't get played off the pitch. Certainly, it was a pretty even match back and forth. Yep. And at the end of the day, the goal came from just a deflected shot, which is, they're always tough ones to take. But I mean, unless the coach was saying some real banter stuff, I
highly doubt it.
I don't know.
I highly doubt it. That'd be crazy.
But I mean, for all of them to be complaining and Foden looking like he's gonna cry out there, is just
he was laughing, but I could, when people cry and it looks like they're laughing. It looked like that. I was I couldn't tell, but I was there's no way he's crying over this, but it did look like it. This is interesting. Heat map touches in the game. Arsenal 663, Man City 667.
Damn,
right next to each other. So I think that kind of proves that it was probably split 50-50 with the ball. I mean, sure, the touches say one thing, but I never felt like one team had pure domination over an entirety of the game. There was no like 15, 20 minutes. It's like, oh my God, like they're doomed.
Yeah, I think it was pretty even. Everyone was just trying to play really slow and controlled. And then it was that second half where Arsenal finally started to kind of like put on the pressure little by little. I mean,
it was a slow burn.
And you know, if that gets the win, then that's what you got to do, you know. So other teams take notes. Let's get the City down the table some more. And
if the Wolves can do it, you can do it too.
Yeah, for real.
Brighton, get it done. And then Bournemouth, correct me if I'm wrong, which is
gonna be the first win.
Oh no, it's Man United.
Okay, well, I mean,
and then Bournemouth.
You never know. Manchester derby should be a City win, but United could pull something.
I don't know. Let's just segue to United really quick, Chad. That was the luckiest 90-plus minute. McTominay looking like Pele out there. I don't know if you saw the meme. Someone gave him the Ronaldo haircut,
no.
And that was a good one. And it's just when Scott McTominay is playing forward, they seem unbeatable for Scotland too. When he does that for Scotland late in games.
He's that new Fellaini.
Fellaini. He's got a little Origi in him, kind of that last minute goal. But Brentford had that game under control, then God, they let it slip so hard.
It looked like it was just maybe again some of that like tired minds, tired legs sort of thing, because McTominay's not really causing too much threat alone, but then ball just kind of falls to him, and the defenders to track him are just a touch behind him. Bummer to watch them kind of just throw it away after pretty much controlling the whole game. Man,
I'm a little worried for Brentford.
Yeah, they're not
one win. They have one.
They're not as I don't know. I thought they would be able to stabilize better, like until they can get Tony back.
Their goal differential is fine. I mean, they're -1, so it's not like they're getting outscored a ton. But the goals are stopped. And Mbeumo has just been. I think they figured him out a little bit. They realize how they need to play him other teams, and he's kind of their only threat. Again, their defense is their shining spot, but this game should have. They probably should have won this game. I don't know what the XGs on it were. It can't be high. I guess I'll look really quick.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, even for Brentford's goal, like, it was poor defending from United, certainly, but like even Onana's attempt to save it was just so bad. Like he gets to it, but he just like doesn't want to actually save it or something. I don't know.
He has the yips, Chad. I'm telling you.
It could be. It's that, or
he's always played. He's always played a little loosey goosey, like especially at Inter. But this is like, it's like he's trying to impress someone. And it's like, dude, just you're good. Just be you, but don't go too much. Yeah.
I don't know. Like, I'd be interested to hear United fans' thoughts of like the Onana versus De Gea debate, right? Like, De Gea certainly in recent years wasn't like the De Gea of much previous seasons, but he was at least fairly solid. Like you could kind of rely on him, where it looks like Onana is like very hit or miss, very like hot or cold.
I think the expectations for De Gea was a little more like he's going to have that howler every now and then. We know that's coming. But most of the time, I mean, he led the league in clean sheets last year. So like most of the time you're going to be okay. And now I think expectations drastically went up with Onana because he's supposed to be stellar in the back and be kind of that sweeper keeper. And it's been he's been the sweeper keeper. It's just been detrimental to what you're trying to accomplish. So where do you go from there? That's a tough ask. I don't know. I think Man U is going to just be right in the middle of the table. I think there's nothing. They have so many injuries. I would say this weekend could be their peak. I know it's like a really hot take, but honestly, they're getting smoked in Champions League. They're sitting 10th right now in the Premier League. They haven't played, as far as I know, anyone significant besides Arsenal. Has Arsenal been their toughest matchup?
Let's see. They had Tottenham already, but they lost that.
Yeah, they've lost their 2 toughest games against 2 of the top teams in the table, and then against arguably middle of the table, they've done kind of jack.
Yeah, I mean, they go away to Sheffield next, so they should be able to pull out a win there.
They should chalk that up.
Or that could be Sheffield's first win.
Dude, that would be
could be
kind of hilarious. I mean, if Brentford could almost do it, if Brentford could win 92 minutes of that game, I don't know, man. I don't know. With the quality that they have on paper, you'd expect a lot more, but so many injuries, and Rashford's been a shell of himself.
Yeah, he's been quiet. I mean, I think it'll be a little bit similar to last season, where he will have some period of 5-6 games where he is scoring again, but he's just not like the guy to carry the team that much. Like, Bruno's kind of stopped scoring. Hoyland hasn't really done enough.
I like him. At least. I do like him.
I like him. He looks pretty promising.
He's 20. Like,
I mean, yeah.
What are you? 19 maybe even, but
I don't know if he'll be worth his price, but like, the striker market's just like pretty barren as it is, so you got to kind of take a punt here or there. But he looks like he has a lot of energy, good strength. He's getting in good positions and all that, so he could become what they're missing. But for right now, it's kind of Rashford has to take that, and he's just not doing it. It's just not working.
And Casemiro got subbed off at the 45th minute. That's a little concerning too.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Again, the direction of this team, and I think being shot down so quickly in Premier or in Champions, like they're not. I think they already know they're kind of not going to have what it takes to go through. So maybe they'll start putting more focus. But that's got to kill your morale in the locker room to know like this is now a worthless tournament that we still have to go play 4 more games in. Like that sucks.
Yeah. That sucks. Yeah, and I mean, especially having like Varane and Onana and Casemiro and like these team players that have been on successful Champions League sides, like Eriksen, he got to a final with Tottenham. Like, it's got to kind of hurt for them to like be in what should be a decent team, and it's just not really clicking. And I don't watch enough of their games to see if it's like Ten Hag's tactics really being the issue, but
I think it's a combination of Evans, Maguire, Mason Mount, having to start a 30-year-old Eriksen, or subbing on a 30-year-old Eric. I mean, Eriksen isn't going to be your problem solver. There's no way. Martial, who's still on that club, which is fascinating. I don't know, man. This team is bizarre. Garnacho, I think he's a great fit. I think they need to be starting him. I think he needs to be playing the whole 40, getting into the first 45 at least.
I mean, from what I've seen, the games he starts, he doesn't end up playing that well, but he's like been the great like impact sub, which is definitely something to have. But like when he's being that good as a sub, you need to somehow coach that into like the whole 90 minutes. Because if you can have him on there as a threat for 90 minutes, then a goal must come from that, or at least a dangerous play.
He's like the Anthony Gordon for Newcastle. He's that little energizer. Like, okay, maybe he's not a player who other teams are going to look at as a threat, but he's going to be running around all over the place, being a hassle, and that gets the fans going too. And then once you get the fans going, it gets the players going. There's a chain reaction to this, and when he gets on the pitch, it was like that. I think it was against Liverpool when the goal he got was offside. The spark that lit up in that stadium was crazy, and I was like, "Oh shit!" Like this guy got him going. It's surprising to me. He isn't a staple to that lineup, and maybe because him and Rashford play the same position. But that's where Ten Hag needs to be like, "Okay, how can we make this work?" The right side of their pitch, they're having to start Bruno at basically right wing, which is not his best place. When he's central, they moved him centrally in that game, and that's when things started to pick up. He was starting to have more shots at goal. He was making Pinnock start to work, which great game by Pinnock. He is Brentford's shining star because their back line now is just depleted. It's I don't know. I'm all for it. Down to Man U, but hey, I'm just trying to help you, ETH.
Let's just keep those Manchester teams falling in the table.
So place to be is London now, right? That's where everyone wants to be.
It's looking like.
All right, let's do a quick Wolves and Aston Villa game highlight, because this is the one that I caught bits and pieces of, and I was expecting kind of a duel, and we kind of got that. However, Villa had this at the very end. If you saw Watkins shot off the post, that sucks. He was right there, and that would have won it.
I mean, even a few minutes before that, I think they had a pretty good shot that Saw saved, like Saw does. He keeps the Wolves in these games, and I mean, yeah, but Ollie so nearly got the winner at the last possible second.
Yep.
I mean, yeah, it looks like a pretty good battle back and forth. Pedro Neto again just causing issues and
he's so good,
making things happen.
He's got that connection with Chan too.
Yeah,
that's a nice fit.
If they can both stay healthy and Wolves can kind of build on that, I think Wolves will be okay this year.
I would guarantee they're not going down right now, just off of the last 2 weeks and how they've kind of performed. And we just saw Villa kick some big butt last week, and for them to only score one here, that's a sign. So kudos to both these teams.
Pau Torres gets a goal, fantasy points for me.
He kissed the badge. That's a pretty big deal.
Ooh, okay.
Showing his respect to the Villa fans. Little center backs, man. They're scoring a lot right now. It's kind of crazy how much they're actually putting in. Again, interesting game. I'm watching Villa like a hawk because I still think they're gonna make that time. They're right there, Chad. They're right there.
Fifth right now.
I'm feeling pretty good. Chelsea's won 2 in a row.
Yeah, for the first time in a year.
It's been wow. That's crazy. Didn't know
much,
that. They go against Arsenal when we get back. There's no way they make that 3 in a row. Are you worried about them making it 3 in a row?
No, I mean, look at their wins. Was a Fulham team that's been mostly pretty bad, and then a Burnley side that just finally got their first win over fellow promoted side Luton. So it's like these are the wins they should be getting, but nothing to you didn't take down a big name, a big team, right? So it's helps their confidence, but I don't think is enough to look at as a opposing fan and start to worry yet.
All right, predict the scoreline
for Arsenal Chelsea.
Yeah.
Well, presumably Saka will be back, so that's good news. I think it's going to be a 2-0 for Arsenal.
Who scores?
I'm going to say Martinelli. And just for the memes, it's got to be Havertz.
Oh, I hope this is true. I hope we can look back on this and talk about it. I'm going to write this down. 35th minute, Havertz scoring. You know what? We're going to call that too. At the 35th minute, Havertz will score. I'll initial that by my name. Yeah. All right. Sweet. It's going on the corkboard.
Good.
Okay. Well, you predicted it. All right. Let's talk Liverpool really quick because probably should have won that game. I won't lie. A little disappointed.
Yeah.
Couple errors.
I just caught the highlights, but a few little, I don't know if you want to say mental lapses.
Lazy. I call it lazy.
Yeah, laziness.
Virgil, looking at you. And they kind of blamed it on McAllister. I was like, nah. I was they're McAllister should have. I was like, Virgil shouldn't have made such a shitty pass.
Yeah. Virgil definitely set him up. great on Adingra
of
to
course, it was
run onto that and
then
take the shot.
And then Alisson's positioning was. It's hard to even say it wasn't bad positioning. He just didn't expect Virgil to make such a shit pass. So if he was in a weird spot, and he almost got to it, it was close. But
he was where he should be, but it was really just the bad pass that kind of threw everything amok.
shitty. But Mo Salah finally got his away goal, and I say it was a pretty one, and it's all thanks to Elliot because he had the perfect dummy, allowed the nutmeg. And I don't know if you saw, Salah was so happy. Mo was like, Elliot! And he was like, yeah, you! And I was like, yes. That's a great sign.
Yeah, I was kind of wondering if Salah kind of called him off of that, or if Elliot just kind of knew that he was there.
I think he knew. I think if Salah would have called for it, attention would have been brought to Salah, and maybe it would have allowed Elliot to have a little bit more of a position to shoot it, but I think it was just the awareness. Yeah. I just never have seen with like the striking partners that he's had with Firmino and Mane and all the way down the line of players he played with, when they have made an assist, and in his case he didn't even make an assist, he just made a move. I've never seen Salah so happy is not the right word, just so like appreciative that he like understood the situation, because he could have taken that shot and no one would have been mad at it because the ball was perfectly placed to him. He even had a good angle, but Salah's was so much better. So that was sick. I was so happy about that.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's one of those plays where it just shows, the great composure and awareness that these players have at the top level, right? Of like, if that passes to anyone normally, you're taking that shot because you're right in front of goal. Like, why wouldn't you? But then to know or to hear the call of Salah behind you, and like, even if you don't know if he has the better angle, like, it's Salah. Like, he could find a goal from the tightest of angles, like we've seen. It's just, those plays are just so fun to watch. It can be overlooked, in the highlights, because they'll just show Salah kicking the goal and that's kind of it. But that little dummy just really makes the whole play, makes the whole goal.
It shows the trust that they all have with each other, and that's why I think this season is like, I think it could be the one that they finally get to win in front of a crowd, just because of how much they are clicking. It's like, to me, it feels like easily this is the best chemistry since 1920, maybe, so. Or at least like 18, 19, 20. Everyone's just on the same page. It's so unselfish. It's crazy how fast they've all come together, considering this whole new midfield is first time they've all played together. The willingness to sacrifice your own statistic for someone else. Granted, it's Salah. Granted, he has like 10 years on you in professional football, but that just made me really happy. But the thing I want to talk about is the Szoboszlai foul with his shirt being pulled from the back. That could have been a red card.
Probably should have been.
And they're saying it wasn't a red card because he wasn't heading towards goal.
I mean, he was, but
I know. That's the argument, though, is because he wasn't heading, maybe he wasn't facing goal, and because he was taking the I guess the parallel angle towards the goal.
Following the ball, getting absolutely just what they call in the NFL world horse collared, and just pulled down. He was technically the closest person to the goal at the time, and we see a PK and a yellow come out, and that's about it. And I'm just over here banging my head against the table, saying, "What do we have to do?" Yeah, I mean, clearly a penalty, and I get like a penalty is already significant punishment, right? And especially when it gets scored. But
timeout. There was no yellow. I'm sorry. There was no yellow.
He didn't get a yellow.
Pascal Gross did not get a yellow for that. So unpunished is what I'm. The PK.
But I mean, he doesn't play the ball at all. He doesn't challenge the ball.
No.
So at the very least, that should be a yellow. But in this situation, maybe it's not your most clear, like, goal denying opportunity, but to be in the box, basically moving towards the center of the box where the ball is going, feels to me like if he's not pulled back, either he's getting the shot off or he sees Diaz running up and he can lay it off to Diaz. You know, like
Easy goal if that happens.
this is, yeah. I think that's maybe their argument of just like it's not the clear like, oh, it's the last man tackle sort of thing, like running into goal, like that kind of clear foul, but it kind of is at the same time. Like
this just goes back to that Virgil tackle on Isaac against Newcastle. He had 3 other defenders running in the box when that tackle was made. Yes, Isaac was the last person or the closest person to the goal, but even if he would have got past Virgil, those defenders were collapsing on him. So he
wasn't even like central on goal. He was
wasn't even close.
Off to the side. So
he was in the box or
right outside.
No, he was outside. He wasn't even in the box. So I don't know, man. It's frustrating. It's moments like that where I'm just like, okay, if he gets a red, they're down a man. We possess that ball for the entirety of the game. Sure, maybe Brighton gets lucky and they get a set piece and somehow all of our players whiff on the ball and Dunk gets a near in. That was terrible defending.
I feel like there was either bad communication or a lack of communication, because it looks like Robertson goes for it and kind of pulls
potato.
Which then the following defenders, I guess, are maybe expecting Robertson to commit and clear it, and so they're not really prepped for it. That was just a bad one to give away, and so late especially too is I don't know, it the way that Robertson pulls out, I felt like it looks like he gets the call of like leave it, but then no one's there to pick it up. So maybe Dunk sounds just like Virgil or something, and he's like, leave it, and then Robertson's like, all right.
Dunk is like the one person on Brighton who should have a man like literally holding his shirt the entire time. And I've never seen someone run so freely from point A to point B untouched. And then they score, and I was like, at that point, I was like, I don't think we're gonna win this game. Like, we had a lot of time. I think that goal happened at the 78th minute. But even then, we kind of just didn't really have momentum. And then, we had a couple moments where it was like, okay, we look good, but it wasn't anything dangerous. So that sucked. That was a bummer.
Yeah, I mean, a draw away at Brighton's not the worst result, but considering some of the chances and the what probably should have been a red card, and the sloppy defending on the last one is just a bummer. Could have easily came away with 3 points, but
the game could have been 2-0, could have been 2-1, and ended 2-2, and they just got smoked by Villa 6-1. So it's just like
I think still Joe Gomez comes in and is kind of given this task of being, I guess, kind of right back again, which he kind of Matoma kind of like breezes past him, and I don't think there's got to be someone else. There's got to be a James Milner in this squad that can just jump into right back and hold it down. Because Joe Gomez just isn't it. Like he's like you said last week, he kind of gets the guy on the backside of his shoulder, and like that little turn and like switch of momentum, he just doesn't have it.
I don't
know who you do.
They don't have anyone who can replace that spot. I mean, I feel like we have so many people who play on the left, but no one on the right besides Trent, besides Joe, and Joe's not. He's not supposed to be there.
You got was it Samikas or whatever?
Yeah, but he's on the left. Like I get
but
it.
like, is it not worth just throwing him on the right, at least in training, to just like have it kind of in him a little bit? Because I mean, at least he's more comfortable on like the kind of wing back, full back role. He has speed. He has kind of still that attacking threat. I think Joe it's much more of a central player. and it kind of shows and has shown in a few of these plays over the last couple of weeks.
I agree with you fully. I just don't think we have perfect segue.
Yeah.
A Dan Burns 6'6" monster who can just play wing back and absolutely demolish.
Is he really 6'6"?
He's 6'6".
Damn.
Who can demolish the likes of Mbappe and make him regret ever saying what he said about Newcastle. Did you see those comments about when that came up?
Yeah.
Dan Burns, the man who I said Newcastle needs to replace pronto, shut down the best player in the world, and then went against West Ham.
It was that whole PSG team is just
never rated him.
Never. But like, I don't know. They got played out of the park by Newcastle, and watching that game and Newcastle dominating that, and then watching this game against West Ham, like almost feels like two different Newcastles. Honestly, I don't know how. I don't know why, but
I will go back and find this. But I told you they're going to put their chips in a Champions League.
You did.
And they're going to say, this is the one year that we have because everyone else in the Premier League just got so much better. And it's kind of working. It's kind of working.
I mean, yeah. I mean, look, they're in Group F or whatever. It's basically Group of Death. I didn't think they were going to be leading that group.
Did you see the I'm the Danger meme?
No, I didn't.
This is the Breaking Bad, I'm the Danger, and it's Newcastle over Walter White's face. And then it's PSG, who is it, Dortmund and AC Milan? Is that the teams in the group?
Yeah.
And they're all sitting there with big eyes like this. I was like, I'm the Danger. And I was like, that's quality, because that's the truth.
Yeah, I mean, I think maybe that Champions League schedule kind of worked in their favor. Like that first game against AC Milan, like you got the nerves of your first Champions League game in however many years it's been. Probably the first for all those players, minus a few here or there. And that game, like I watched it and didn't really see. I mean, it didn't see too much from either side, but like Newcastle certainly didn't really look like super into it. But maybe that's what they needed, just like one kind of game to just like, dip their toes in, get their feet wet, and see what Champions League European football is all about. And like I know this PSG game was, in Newcastle, so they have the benefit of that. But the way they played,
those fans are crazy.
Yeah. But I mean, the way they played, they could have went and played in Paris, and I think they still would have played that team off.
I think the fans had a big part of it. They were very loud for every defensive play that they made. I mean, they were locking PSG in their own end. That was crazy. It's crazy.
Ridiculous.
The one dark spot for Newcastle is going to be Nick Pope. That dude's positioning today was the Susek goal what was he doing? He was lollygagging.
Yeah.
What else do you say? He was out there doing his own thing and got absolutely punished for it. And Trippier is just killing it right now. Found his way back. He's finding the right passes. Now. He's awake. Bruno G's playing great. Isaac with the brace. I mean, this is what they have to do to get by in Premier League. Again, West Ham doing pretty good this year. However, Jared Bowen shut down by Burns, which is just something I wouldn't have called for. I don't know. This whole and what is Newcastle in right now? Where are they at? Are they like 9th?
8th like right now.
8th? Okay, so
right behind West Ham. So
I'm telling you, this top. I said top 7. I think top 8 has this weird flexibility that they can just shift. I mean, they're all quality teams at this point. Mm-hmm. I think Palace just doesn't have enough to break that. And then it just falls to United and Chelsea and so on. And those teams can all kind of be mushed together. But that top 8 is pretty nice. It's going to be. It's going to be. This table's going to split incredibly fast, I think, and it's just going to continue to split. And the top 8 is going to do their thing, and then the bottom 12 is going to be, and then the bottom 4 are just going to be like interchangeable.
Yeah. I think for that top 8, it's really going to be, those European matches and how much they play into, injuries, just freshness of players, and how much focus and effort that team places in that. Like, if Newcastle does want to go all in on it, like, yeah, I mean, if they can replicate how they played against PSG, I think they can go pretty far in it. They kind of have that right kind of play style in Europe, right? Where
yes,
it can be explosive and fast, but it can also be pretty controlled, and lock teams down.
You need to go hard for one game and get it done, especially if they make it out of group, which I think they will. I think they will,
yeah.
Which is crazy to even ponder. So I'm just gonna look at this really quick. Tottenham's not in Europe, correct?
Correct.
Arsenal is, City is, Liverpool is, Villa is, Brighton is, West Ham is not. No. Oh yeah, they won. Yeah. They won Europa Conference.
Conference League,
shoot. Yeah. And then Newcastle is, and then what? Out of top 10 is just United.
United, yeah.
That's it. Okay. So
I mean, yeah, like if you
one of them
take into account that, then Tottenham has the advantage here, right? Of not having to worry about it, which maybe showing a little bit already. Yeah, I don't know that they got the legs to go the whole way and win the title out of this, but they're certainly benefiting from no midweek matches currently, and they're out of the League Cup, I'm pretty sure. I think they went out like first round for them. So they just will have the FA Cup to worry about when that comes around. So, it can very quickly just be, we're only focused on Premier League because that's all we have. And, then, I don't know, see what they can do. They're going to fail, obviously, because it's Tottenham. So
I'm not too worried about that one.
Yeah.
All right. Forest and Palace, two mid-table teams going at it with no offense. Not surprised that one fell.
My only note was proper lower mid-table football.
That's right. You can't get much better than that.
Yep.
You can't. Chelsea-Burnley. When Burnley went up 1-0, I said, this could get ugly. I did. And that's when I tuned in because I was like, oh, this is going to be juicy. And then Burnley did Burnley things. They fell apart. And Chelsea, of course, scored pretty simple goals.
I mean, the biggest shout out I want to give from this game was just Sterling looked not like his old self, but in a much better place than he has been. He is always caused an issue for Burnley's back line. Was a part of a lot of the key plays. Gets a goal too, so but again, it's Burnley, so I don't know that you can take too much from this.
Last time he popped off was against Luton Town, so
and that's what I'm saying. It's like, it's a good win for Chelsea, but it's a game they should be winning. And to give up a goal, I think was already maybe a little bit suspect, but then to end the game 4-1 definitely looks a lot better. But yeah, I don't know. I'm not worried.
They've won 2 in a row. They have momentum. That's about all they got. That's about all they got. They scored 4, which, hey, like, you scored. You're hitting your target.
I mean, Nick Jackson hit the target. So
Lord.
That's a big day.
Chelsea fans saying, thank goodness. Yeah. Everton, Bournemouth, pretty straightforward. 2 bottom, but 3 goals for Everton. Jack Harrison's
goal.
Harrison, it's on my list. Most handsome man in the EPL, calling it out. Getting a sweet goal. However, I think their keeper is a little out of position. But again, you got to hit your spot.
It was one of those where it's like, I called it a controlled banger.
Yeah,
because he doesn't really like smack it. It's a nice took his time and took the deep breath before and controls it into the corner.
The keeper parried it, so I mean they were all on the ground and then went out. So the keeper had to bounce back up fast.
Yeah.
If you were to say, would the keeper have saved it if he was like, if it wasn't a deflection type situation? I still don't know if he would have. It was a nice spot. It was a nice angle, and
For sure.
Former Leeds man gets a nice goal and gets Everton a crucial win.
Bournemouth is sinking fast, so I think you probably got a sacking coming soon.
Rooney.
I think I was with you on that, but I think I just saw that he's agreed to Birmingham City or something.
Okay, but he's coming to he's coming to the other side of the pond.
Everything just says he's the front runner and lined up to be Birmingham City. So I guess not official yet, but I feel like, not a bad shout. I guess your only risk is like he's not a Sean Dyche or a Big Sam, like proven manager to like get you out of relegation and survive. But I don't know. You got to change something. You're falling real fast and haven't really shown much in any performance to show that it could go another direction.
Birmingham's an interesting one. They're 6th right now in the championship. So I wonder what's happening over there that make them want to get Rooney, because they're in playoff. They're in promotion playoff at this point. Yeah. Again, long season. They've won the last 2. I want to see Rooney in Premier League. I think he totally fits the physicality, and I think that's why he was such a good player in the Premier League, was because, man, when he showed up, people said, oh my God, this 36-year-old wants to kill me. And he kind of did. He almost got it done against a couple players.
I mean, do you think, because Rooney's taken the managerial career like properly, I'd say, where he started, kind of low level, worked his way up, and now has done a little bit here in MLS. So he has pretty good, mid to low level coaching experience. Do you think United's gonna like take a punt on him if Ten Hag doesn't work out? Like, you're kind of going through this like rebuilds anyway, right? Like,
that'd be crazy. That would be a crazy shakeup. If it would have been, oh man, I don't know. I don't think United has the balls to do that right now. But I think if Rooney says I'm not going to coach for anyone until next season, I could very much see that happening. I could also see it happening for Everton too, since he's Liverpool boy. But I think that Man United is a good shout if this season just goes completely south. And maybe even by December they're out of Champions League and that team is falling apart, and he can come in there and get rid of who he wants and bring in who he wants and kind of, I don't want to say start fresh because we're mid-season, but
I mean, you come in mid-season and I don't know, let's say they finish mid-season right now, kind of where they're at, like 9, 10, 11. And any manager you bring in, as long as you finish there or above, I think that's pretty good. Like, you didn't have a whole preseason to work with your team. You didn't have a whole summer transfer window to get who you want. The winter window is a thing, but like, it's hard to kind of get people in and out on that just because it is mid-season. I don't know. I don't necessarily think it'll happen, but these clubs love kind of bringing in the former player, now manager, whether just for the marketing or fan appreciation of it, or
it's the familiarity. I think they understand the Man United way. Well, at least they understand whatever club they're with, the dedication it takes.
And I think for Rooney being such a big name during Ferguson's time there and kind of carrying the team in the years after a little bit, like, he definitely has that fan connection and fan love and appreciation. I mean, if United's gonna have a rough season, maybe you bring him in just to kind of not like get the fans back on board, but like get them excited about the team again, right?
Mm-hmm. It is crazy that Man United finished top 4 last year, and this is where we're at now.
Yeah. Well, I mean, their defense and De Gea was pretty solid last season, right? Like,
so is this his fault? Are you saying they're at this spot because of him? He wanted Onana. He wanted his former Ajax man. He wanted a chunk of the Ajax players he brought in, and they've all been.
His whole scouting ideology is like, have I worked with you? Yes, you're in. Like, he wanted Timber too, but he ended up at Arsenal. Anthony hasn't really shown enough to, I think, justify his price. Lisandro Martinez, I think you could say, has done well.
Yeah.
Not that he worked with Casemiro before, but Casemiro's done well. But that's kind of expected. You're coming from years at Real Madrid, like, you're a known quantity, and you bring in a quality that everyone has seen for years. I don't know. And Onana is a good keeper, but maybe just not the stability that's needed in the back for this Man United team. Like, your defenders aren't necessarily that, like, ball playing defender either, especially with your injuries right now. Like, you got Harry Maguire in there, and we've seen him on the ball and what he can produce, and it's nothing to benefit your team. You
mean the assist man, Harry Maguire, to the goal winning Scott McTominay?
That's it, I guess so. Yeah. I don't know. I think as much as Ten Hag was kind of thought about being this, like, big name or tactical whiz kid sort of thing, like, I don't know that I've seen enough over his time that would make me think that.
A dude looks like he's constantly biting his nails, and it's just like freaking out a majority of the time. I don't know. I feel for him a little bit. Again, it's only been a year and some change since he's been there. April of 2022. So short term, he got them to Champions League. Now they're just snowballing the wrong way. Can he rebound? That's the thing. If he beats City in a couple weeks, opinions might change. I think he has to prove himself, but he got the win this week against Brentford, despite playing terribly for 92 minutes, and then all of a sudden, a little McTominay spark plug comes in. This all started with Rooney. I think Rooney finds his way to the Premier League within the next year. I think that's what's going to happen.
Okay, I could see it. I mean, if he goes to Birmingham, I think he finishes out that season. I mean, they're already in playoff position, so ideally he keeps them at least in that area, if not better. I mean, if teams are willing to take a try at Frank Lampard when he had done literally nothing, like,
and Gerrard,
Rooney's got to look better. Like, Gerrard too. Like,
yes.
So it could happen.
The sellout Gerrard. Okay, 2 more games to go. We'll skip over that. The Fulham Sheffield game. Fulham went up. Robinson gave up a terrible own goal. He looked. There's been a lot of own goals this year. I don't know if it's like the speed of everything that's happening. It's just really hard to defend. But own goals might be leading the league in goals right now. I feel like we've seen a lot of them. The goal I want to shout is Tom Kearney's double-footed left foot, right foot goal, which was actually an own goal, which don't feel like it should be. I mean,
at that point, no.
What is the keeper supposed to do? Like, that was a crazy shot. The ball had some crazy, weird, like, traverse spin on it. And then you got a hand on it, hit the post, and it hit your back while you were already in the goal, pretty much. I thought that was one of the harshest own goals I've seen. And to not credit him with that goal, that was just such a weird shot.
It came off, and it just, it feels like it floated through the air for so long, and then somehow still ends up in the goal.
So props to Sheffield for getting that.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Fulham.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was, I want to give that as my goal of the week. But
I have it down too, but it's like
is that illegal?
yeah, can we do that?
I think we can do that. We should be allowed to do that.
Yeah.
Make our own rules.
You know, Tim Ream hit 300 Fulham appearances. That's a big milestone. It's been with him a long time.
That is a long time. 300.
Yeah.
I didn't realize he's been there for that long.
Neither did I, but I mean, what you're up there. I want to say like Messi, Xavi, Iniesta were like 500 to 600 appearances for Barcelona. So, you know, he's putting in the work for Fulham and
2015.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, almost 10 years. It's impressive.
Yeah.
And arguably, I think like his last 3 or 4 has been his best.
Yeah, for sure. I didn't really hear about him before that. You know, even in the national team,
he wasn't really playing for us.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden he came in and he was like rock solid.
Yeah, you be my captain. I do want to shout out. We have one more game, just the Tottenham Luton game. Let's top it off really quick. Good job, Tottenham. You beat Luton Town. People on Reddit are being like, give us shit for beating top teams and like don't give us any credit for beating the bottom. Like, dude, there have not been like a bottom 3 like this in a long to me feels like a long time. This bottom 3 is god awful.
Yeah, I mean, really, you could kind of say bottom 4, you know, kind of 5. Like, you know, Everton is finally kind of waking up, I guess, and you know, Brentford started better than they have been in recent weeks, but like, you know, Luton, Burnley, Bournemouth, and Sheffield have just they aren't getting anything going. Yeah, but I mean, really, like.
You did it.
But like, how wasteful was Tottenham with their shots? Like, so many were just like either straight at the keeper or wide or high, and you know, against Luton, this may not be an issue because you still get your goal in the end. But like, if you're gonna bring the same wastefulness against a tougher team, like, you gotta capitalize on your chances, and they just look so. Shooting for sure, but like so just wasteful, I guess, is the only way I can kind of say it.
Don't forget, they only beat Liverpool because we had 9 men.
Yeah. It's just I don't know. I get like, you know, the random Reddit posts like recommended to me sometimes from their sub, and you know, I click on them every once in a while, and right now they're all feeling real good. Like, sure, sitting top of the table, but they're starting to dream over there of winning the title. 8 games in. I mean, dream it, you know, but believe what you want to believe, but there's a long way to go.
They've had no impressive wins.
Yeah, you definitely got some more hurdles coming your way. So.
Holy shit, Chad. Just look at their schedule. 2-2 Tottenham. Okay, Tottenham's bottom 5. 2-0 Man United. Man United has done nothing special. 2-0 Bournemouth. Okay, another bottom 3 team. 5-2 against Burnley. Another bottom 3 team. 2-1 Sheffield. Bottom 3 team. 2-2 Arsenal. That's the one, which, you know what? 2-2 against Arsenal. Great job.
Great job, but...
You came to play that day.
Kind of off the back of that Jorginho mix-up at the back.
That is
then
true.
He's running straight into goal. So... It's a great result for them for sure, but not without that little caveat.
2-1 Liverpool, which, hey,
Yeesh.
Go listen to our last episode about that one.
Yeah.
And then 1-0 against Luton Town. There hasn't been anything in there where I'm like, damn, this is a title contender.
So, I mean,
Sorry.
now I think we'll start to kind of see their season start, right? Like they've I mean, I guess even for the next couple of weeks, they're okay. They got Fulham, Palace, Chelsea, Wolves, Villa. Then December's kind of a sketchy month for them, but I don't know. You've played a lot of the bottom team, so winning what you should win. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, if their fans want to get ahead of themselves, then
Do it.
go for it. Like I get it, fan perspective. You take what you can get, ride the wave. But
Play us again, damn it.
yeah, I wouldn't get too far ahead. Yeah, just
when do we play them again? Oh God, May 4th. That's way too long.
May 4th.
Ugh. I can't wait that long.
Yeah.
I'm not worried. I'm not worried, Chad.
No.
Again, too early. Way too early.
Yeah.
Especially when West Ham was in front like 2 weeks ago. You don't know what's going to happen.
Exactly. And, it's still just so tight, that top, 6? Brighton's at 16 points, Tottenham's on 20. Like, that can swing in 2 weeks.
Yep.
And
thank goodness. I'm so glad we're back to this, like, it can just go back and forth so quickly and not just Man City running away and being like, all right, who's got 2 through 5?
Yeah. Yeah. It's nice to see, at this point, a healthy amount of competition.
Yes.
Kind of, I'd say the table's like kind of split in thirds, I guess, right now.
Top, middle, bottom.
Yeah. So nice to see that. Nice to see, not City running away, not anyone running away, but even the mid is kind of competitive for your Chelsea and United's. They got to get something. So
fair enough. All right, let's do our team, player, and goal.
Team, while not the most electric or exciting performance, I had to go Arsenal. You got the points after 6.5 years of no points. Like you kind of defeat your demon, right?
Yes.
So I feel like they were all the other teams. Like I feel like everyone won who should have won. Maybe Brentford should have held on, but Liverpool probably should have won, but
they wouldn't have gotten it. If you beat City for me this year, you're getting team of the week. I'm sorry, it's gonna be that easy. Wolves, you earned it. Arsenal, you earned it. Brighton, you're up next. Don't let me down. And then we'll just continue to go from there. No, that's awesome. Great pick. Goal's a little tougher. For me, mix of reasons. The Kearney goal, the Salah goal, the first one, just because of how beautifully it was set up, and then the Jack Harrison goal, just because of perfect placement. And I haven't seen too much of him, and I do think he's one of those players that is still fairly young and could get, especially if Everton is going to get relegated, he's going to go to. I'd be willing to put money that he goes to a top 6 club if Everton drops.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, do I want to say this?
Say it. I don't know what you're going to say, but say it.
Okay, I'm not going to put my name on it that Everton's staying up, but they're at least getting the points off of the neighbors that they need to. Like,
yep.
They lost against Luton last week, so like that hurts. But like, you're beating Brentford, you're beating Bournemouth, you drew Sheffield. Like, you're not
surviving,
running away from relegation, but you're getting the points over the teams that you need to. Yep. So I'm not going to sign my name that they're staying up.
Okay, no initials.
But I'm feeling okay for them at the moment.
Okay.
But yeah, I think Harrison's goal is definitely good. The only other one, we didn't even talk about it, but Kudus, his goal for West Ham. Oh yeah,
that was nice. That was nice. First goal for him in the Premier League.
Yeah, I thought that one was pretty sweet. The Kearney goal was just so weird, and like I feel wrong picking that one, but
dude, it should have been his goal. It wouldn't shock me if tomorrow they're like, you know what, that was your goal. Can they do that? I think they can maybe do that.
Probably, yeah. I'm kind of between Harrison and Kearney.
Let's give it to Kearney. Let's call it the OG, like the first OG that makes it.
I like it. Yeah, and a worthy OG, not just like a random deflection. Like
No, that was
it was pretty much in.
You earned it. You earned it. And then player, Chad. Whew, player's tough for me on this one. Man, Matt Turner. Matt Turner's up there for keeping that clean sheet, but I think it's got to. I know. I think it's got to be McTominay. I think it's got to be him coming in as a super sub and putting 2 away in the 90 plus. It's pretty damn good.
Yeah. My only other shouts, Sterling, just because he was creating a lot of issue, got his own goal as well. 2 shots on target. Isak, 2 goals, 2 shots on target. Martinelli's kind of the same as like McTominay, just the sub came in and kind of changed the game.
Yeah, Martinelli for me too.
And then I had Rice in there. He kind of held down that midfield. 3 tackles, 3 interceptions, 1 block, 2 clearance.
Ooh.
Like he was cooking in that midfield, and it's kind of easy to overlook that when goals win games
for
and
sure.
stuff. But he had some huge tackles in there, so
he felt like the difference maker for sure.
Yeah, I'm.
Let's go Rice.
I'm kind of either Rice or McTominay, and
let's zag.
While McTominay did get the 2 goals and the winner out of that, like
he didn't do anything else. Let's be real.
Then they just, I don't know. He was
clutch. He was clutch.
That right place, right time kind of goal for both of them, right? Like
he was clutch for 4 minutes.
Yeah, did enough, but Rice held down the whole midfield for the whole game against City.
His control was so good. His possession was perfect. Did he ever screw up? No.
If he did, I missed it.
Same. That game was pretty flawless game from him. Yeah, dude, let's zag. You don't need to be a goal scorer to earn this award.
Yeah.
Props to you, Rice. I'm happy with it.
I like that.
I'm happy with it. I think that's all I got for Premier League news. I do want to shout out my boy Christian Pulisic, 4 goals for AC Milan, leading the team in goals scored. Dude is a money maker over there. AC fans love him. Absolutely love him. It's crazy. They're chanting USA in the press box whenever he scores, and it's just so freaking weird to hear. I will never be an AC fan, but it's cool to see that happening. And then former Arsenal Olivier Giroud getting in goal. Did you see the save he made? Closed his eyes, punched the ball, took it out of midair, and then his teammates just they didn't dogpile him, but they gave him a lot of pats on the backs and the head. And I was like, that was crazy. So I don't know. I kind of want, I can't get an AC Milan jersey, but boy, do I want a Giroud goalkeeping kit so bad.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I don't even know how the question came up, but someone posted a old interview that Arsene Wenger did, and he said, like, if Petr Cech ever has to go out, I'm throwing Giroud in goal.
No way.
Maybe it's a known thing on the training pitch that like he's got a little keeper in him. I don't know. But
no, that save he made where he punched the ball down. That was genius. You don't see a keeper. They usually are punching it up, but the way he punched it down was kind of fascinating. I was like, I've never thought about that because then the ball's gonna bounce and you have time to recover. When you punch the ball up, that's giving players time to set up on a volley. It was very fascinating. I definitely took a minute to think what situation would he have been in if he had just punched it up. It makes you look back and be situations if I punched it down, you would have more time to recover. It's weird. It can't happen often because you're going to probably hit a player if you do that.
Sure, yeah.
But it didn't. So it worked out. It's
always fun to see, an outfield player now playing keeper. Often they don't have much to do. It comes at the very end of the game. But
love it.
For him to get in there and make some key save.
Did you, one more side note, did you ever see the video of Mendy when he played for Chelsea and he was doing the ping pong game where he was grabbing the balls in midair? Yeah. And then they had Ziyech come in there and do it?
I don't remember what Ziyech did, but...
Oh, he missed every single ball that was thrown to him. It was the funniest thing I've ever seen. And the way his hand-eye coordination worked, it just didn't. So I'll send that to you. It was really funny to watch because it just shows how some players they just don't use their hands ever. And it's it's crazy how amazing they are with their feet, which is doesn't make sense to me how you can be that good with your feet and not your hands. So, but yeah. All right. That's all I got for this week.
Yeah, I think that rounds it out.
International break. We got, 2 weeks off?
Pretty much,
and then, maybe if anything crazy happens this week, we'll do a little... maybe if Wayne Rooney goes somewhere, we'll pop back in and do a quick little chit-chat and be like, that's going to be sweet or that's going to be real bad.
Yeah, we come back to Merseyside Derby. Liverpool versus Everton. That'll be spicy, as always.
Should be a smoke show.
Should be, but, City Brighton, Chelsea Arsenal.
Yes.
Yeah, got some heat. Oh, Aston Villa West Ham as well.
Nice.
So, we'll get some movement on the table for sure.
Good. I'm looking forward to it. It's nice having a week off, but at this point, I'm like, the season, we're like in a groove, and now I'm like, damn it, now I gotta take a weekend off. Ugh.
Yeah.
It is what it is. All right, Chad. With that, I think that wraps it up.
For sure.
Yeah. All right, we'll be back with that. The Hooligans are out. Peace.